Have you ever felt like your whole life was about to change? For a young orphan named Pip, that feeling was just around the corner, though not in the way he'd ever expect. Our story begins on a bleak, misty Christmas Eve in the English marshes. Pip is visiting the graves of his parents, a lonely little boy raised by his harsh older sister and her kind-hearted husband, the blacksmith Joe Gargery. Suddenly, a terrifying figure emerges from the fog. It's an escaped convict, still in chains, with a voice like a rusty file. He grabs Pip, turns him upside down, and demands food and a file to cut his leg iron. Terrified, Pip agrees, promising to sneak them out of his house the next morning. It's a secret that weighs heavily on his small shoulders. The next day, Pip manages to steal a pork pie and some brandy, along with Joe's precious file from the forge. He nervously delivers the items to the convict, who devours the food ravenously. But their clandestine meeting is interrupted by the sounds of another man shouting. The first convict reacts with pure fury, and Pip slips away, his heart pounding. Later that Christmas Day, soldiers arrive at the forge. They need Joe to mend some handcuffs. It turns out they're hunting for two escaped convicts. Pip, filled with a mix of fear and guilt, watches as Joe, he, and a few others join the search party. They soon find the two men viciously fighting in a ditch. Pip's convict, upon seeing the soldiers, doesn't try to escape. Instead, he confesses to stealing the food from the blacksmith's house, clearing Pip of any suspicion. Pip tries to signal to him that he understands, but the convict gives no sign of recognition as he's led away to the prison ships, disappearing back into the mist. Pip is left with a profound sense of pity and a secret connection to this mysterious, desperate man. Life returns to its normal, often difficult routine. Then, a strange invitation arrives. Miss Havisham, a wealthy and eccentric recluse who lives in a grand, decaying mansion called Satis House, wants Pip to come and play. This is a huge deal. Everyone in the village whispers about Miss Havisham and her strange, frozen-in-time existence. Pip is scrubbed clean and sent off, feeling both nervous and important. At Satis House, he's led in by a beautiful but incredibly cold and proud girl named Estella. She mocks Pip for his coarse hands and thick boots, making him feel ashamed of his simple, working-class background for the very first time. He's then led into a dark, dusty room where everything has stopped. Clocks are frozen at 20 minutes to 9. In the center sits Miss Havisham, a skeletal figure in a yellowed wedding dress, with a withered bridal veil and a single satin shoe. She tells Pip that this was her wedding day, the day her heart was broken. His play consists of card games with the disdainful Estella, all while Miss Havisham watches with a strange, grim satisfaction. This becomes his new routine. He visits Satis House regularly, enduring Estella's insults and growing more and more infatuated with her, all while becoming deeply dissatisfied with his own life as a future blacksmith. He starts to dream of becoming a gentleman to be worthy of Estella. One day, during a visit, he gets into a fight with another boy in the garden, a pale young gentleman, and surprisingly wins. This small victory boosts his confidence, and Estella even allows him a small kiss. He continues his visits for months, until one day, Miss Havisham decides it's time for him to be apprenticed to Joe. She gives him a sum of money, a premium for his service, and dismisses him. Pip is crushed. His dream of a different life, a life with Estella, seems to be over. He's now bound to the forge, a future he no longer wants. He feels trapped, and the great expectations that had just begun to bloom in his heart now seem like a cruel joke. Little does he know, his journey has only just begun. If you're fascinated by Pip's story and want to know what happens next, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We'll be diving into the next part of his incredible journey very soon. Thanks for watching.